Hey everybody, I am doing Facebook Live right now. It didn't work the first time, so live hangout with Monarch. It's called Raw Food. Exclamation! I'm having an issue with connecting with my phone. Welcome. Bear with me for a second here as I figure this out. All right. Should be working. Facebook mentions, post, live video. Live raw food hangout with Monarch. That looks like it's working. Oh no. I can't stand glitches. I can't stand glitches. It's connecting. This is working, so obviously the internet's working. Let's see what kind of internet this is. Oh. It says Mac 5G. Let's see if we can find the Mac 5G. Come on. Ah! Now I'm in business. Sorry, everybody. We're about to rock this live hangout in a second. I'm just trying to do the Facebook one. Here we go. Live video. Live raw food hangout with Monarch. Exclamation point. Go live. Yes! Don't you just love dictation? Okay. You just gotta go like that, and like that. It should be working. Or like that, and like that. There we go. Now we are in business. Welcome everybody. This is Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show. And it is time to have an awesome hangout. I've got my cucumber juice here as usual, rich in silicon and silica. Oh yeah. So we ready to party? No, I am. Let's do this. First off, there are 2 spots left for the March retreat, and we've got 2 people who are about to book. First come, first serve. If you want to come to this March retreat, now is the time to do it, or you could be on the waiting list. Oh, sweet. It's going to sell out by this week, I'm sure. And you'll get an email from me stating that. And then we're going to say you could be put on a waiting list if you want to come to the March retreat here in Vilcabamba. I am certain, 100% certain, that this is going to be the best Raw Food World retreat we've ever had. I already know it. B12 patch. Gotta make sure to get them B vitamins. Very important. And I just feel it right when you put it on every single time. And I could dump the other one on this side. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're good to go. We're live. You can go to news.therawfoodworld.com/live to ask your questions. There's only a few questions. Usually they'll start building up like crazy. You can go on Facebook to my profile and ask me questions there. So there's many places to watch this video, or Google+. I gotta go show you guys a picture. Oh, it's not on this computer. I think I could do this still. You guys want to see a cool picture real quick before we get started? Since there's not that many questions right now, might as well try to do this. Where's my toolbox? Toolbox? Cameraman. No, I don't think that's it. Forget it. I don't want to mess with this. Okay, let's just start answering questions. Here we go. Rocking it live in Vilcabamba, Ecuador. Lots of fun stuff going on here. Okay. Terry TJ Junebug is back. And she writes, hi, Matt. I just saw for the first time these paleo wraps you have. I think we're out right now. The company can't even keep up. I saw they were just $6 a package. They were on sale. We had an at-cost blowout, which was, I convinced the company to do it, and I think they regretted it because we went through so many. Anyways, they couldn't get them because they're hard to, the demand is so high they can't make them fast enough. I compared them to other places. Yours are by far the cheapest. I've always wanted to buy from you, but living in Canada, there was a shipping charge, a high shipping charge. Is there a way around avoiding this high shipping charge by any chance? Sincerely, Terry. Yes, you just have to deal with customer service. Actually, we actually changed the process. If you're international, you're charged $0 shipping, and then you're emailed the actual exact shipping cost. And then you can either accept or decline, and you can either cancel or send the order out. But that's the best way, and it'll be a lot cheaper, the shipping, because it's actual shipping. That's how we had a table rate. I tried to estimate it, and if people bought like 100 B12 patches that are really light, they just mess things up. Okay. So you could go to news.therawfoodworld.com/live to ask questions. Okay. Hi, Matt. I love the Raw Food World products. In your Superfoods Made Simple video, that was a long time ago, you talk about making a superfood meal out of superfood powders, noni, camu, maca, mesquite, lucuma, mashing it into a banana, drizzling yacon syrup over it, and topping it with goji berries. In more recent videos during your ketogenic experiment, you talked about taking supplements sporadically so you don't get used to them and can feel the boost. I mean, I said that, but not in those exact words. How did you choose which is more appropriate for you and when? Okay, so the Superfoods Made Simple video is kind of just like an overview of something that you can do. And it gives you like a base of how to use the superfoods in that superfoods package. And it's a great way to do it. Also during that, I believe I talked about you could just put things in a smoothie and things like that. There's so many different scenarios and possibilities. And taking supplements and superfoods are, it's important to cover our grounds. And the high and the boost is all fun and stuff, but that's not necessarily the reason why we should be taking these superfoods and supplements. But I do enjoy the effects, I guess you can say. And if I take things on an ongoing basis, you don't feel it as much. And then if you stop and take it again, you feel it pretty good, really strong. Kind of like if you just do coffee, it's different. But if you're drinking coffee nonstop, you're not gonna feel the effects. But then if you stop for a month and then do it again, you're like, boom, like crazy. Refined sugar also. If you eliminate refined sugar, the cravings are insane. But after 2 weeks, you probably won't crave sugar anymore. And then you kind of reset yourself to where if you were to eat what you used to eat that was sweet, you'd be like, oh my goodness, that's like way too sweet. And then you would probably choose, just by eliminating sugar for 2 weeks, to lower your sugar intake, because you don't even realize how intense that sugar is. There's actually studies on this type of stuff. So the question is, how did you choose which is more appropriate for you and when? Okay, so this is a good time to talk about the whole sugar aspects and things like that. Okay, me personally, I have lowered my sugar intake drastically. I did the raw vegan ketogenic diet, but it didn't work for me because I couldn't get into ketosis. And one of the reasons why I don't think I could get into ketosis is because I don't have much fat on me. So, any fat, I'm just gonna have fat. So when you, when you start burning your own fat stores, you're gonna be in ketosis a lot of the time. So a guy like me, I got into ketosis here and there, but most of the time I wasn't in ketosis. However, I benefited so much from lower sugar that I decided that I don't eat much sugar. It's almost like I'm doing raw vegan ketogenic right now. I just don't go into ketosis. I do strawberry. The only fruit that I've been doing recently is strawberries. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while, if I'm hanging out with friends or if I need a boost, I'll do a raw chocolate with coconut sugar in there. I'm flying like crazy. Or, you know, I'm not gonna, at the retreats, I'll eat plenty of mangoes and things like that. But generally, I don't eat, for the last 3 weeks, I feel incredible. I haven't eaten, all I eat is strawberries for my sugar intake. And if I go running, I do a lot of exercising. So if I go running, I'll definitely drink like 6 to 8 ounces of carrot juice with lots of green juice, just for the nutritional aspects. But I'm burning that stuff off. So mesquite powder, which is in that meal, is miraculous. Okay, I should talk about like the benefits I got from less sugar, but mesquite powder is the best sweetener in the world. It's not even a sweetener, it's a food. And I make the peeling nut chocolate with no other sweetener but mesquite powder. It almost tastes like sugar, especially if you do what I say by eliminating sugar completely for 2 weeks. And then you're gonna not want to eat sugar anymore because you're gonna go back to eating it. You're like, oh my goodness, that's like sweet. You might even get a little headache or something like that. And then if you eat mesquite powder, you're gonna think that's like the sweetest thing you could possibly imagine. If you're eating Twinkies and M&Ms right now, and then you eat the mesquite powder, you might not think it's that sweet. But anyways, we have 33 people at this March retreat coming. It's almost sold out. At the last retreat, there was over 30 people. I make peeling nut chocolate here. I only put mesquite. People go nuts over it. They want it forever. Like, this is like, it's so sweet to them, and it's like zero glycemic, low glycemic. Okay, so the benefits that I've been receiving from doing low sugar have been pretty immense. First of all, when I was eating lots of sugar in terms of carrot juice, like crazy amounts of it, lots of coconut water, lots of, you know, a decent, not too much fruit, but a decent amount of fruit. But if I go back and I look at what I used to do, the main intake of sugar I did was came in the form of liquid. So I must have been doing so much sugar, it's crazy. I probably did like, I can't even remember, 32 ounces of carrot juice with like, anyways, it ended up being like a gallon of sugar drink, whether it was coconut water, carrot juice, whatever. It was a lot of sugar. So anyways, when I stopped, after every meal, I would get all this mucus and I would like spit it up. And I thought that was like normal. And then when I stopped and I stopped the sugar, it never happens anymore. I don't even get that much mucus anymore. I was doing some research on why certain possibilities, why this can actually be happening. And as I discussed in last week's Hangout, which was actually an amazing Hangout, if you missed last week's Hangout, I highly recommend watching it. There are specialized white blood cells that we have. They're called neutrophils. And they're really good at attacking viruses, bacteria, candida, fungus. And what they do is they gobble up all of these different things. It's like, it just eats it as if you're like, you know, just eats it and it's gone. That's what these white blood cells do. However, when there is sugar present, they avoid all of these different things, and then they eat up the sugar. They go after the sugar. So you're kind of like deactivating these neutrophils, which are needed to fight infection. And so when when you're eating lots of sugar, these specialized white blood cells are going after the sugar, and this is why there's extra mucus that is present in your body. Like I don't have any mucus anymore. I mean, I do every once in a while, but like it's like there's nothing there anymore like I had when I was eating lots of sugar. It's amazing. Also, I just feel better. I have more energy. It's good. I don't eliminate sugar completely. I had a list of benefits. There was more than this. Anyways, there was clinical studies showing. I heard about it. I didn't get to actually see it myself, but I heard other doctors talking about it. There were clinical studies of people who ate high carb diet, sugar and starches for their entire life. And there was twins and stuff like this. And then the others ate fat. And the difference in aging between the people that ate a lot of sugar versus fat was profound, like crippled and not as beautiful versus beautiful and stuff like this. And in the health movement, people are talking about fat like crazy now. It's like food for the brain. It helps prevent Alzheimer's, while sugar does the opposite. Insulin resistance, fatty liver, you become insulin resistant, you have type 3 diabetes automatically. You can get insulin resistance in the brain over time and things like that. There was other things with sugar and aging also. I hear you, Simba. It's our cat. What was it? Sugar with... okay. I'll save that for another time. I'm sure I'll get this question soon. So anyways, I'm really excited about the whole entire low glycemic aspect of what I'm doing here. There isn't that many questions, so maybe I will continue on. Let's go to some more questions and we'll come back. Okay. Okay, so same person has another question who was asking about the superfoods made simple. Hey Matt, what do you recommend if the blood vessels behind the eyes are leaking? The blood vessels behind the eyes are leaking. Leaking, so there's blood that's leaking? Is that the issue here? I'm assuming it's blood, obviously, blood vessels. But just to confirm, and then I'll come back to that question. I often experience pain from a past injury which flares up when I perform repetitive motions, such as eating, typing, preparing food, juicing, carrying bags. I tried stopping those motions for 3 days by water fasting, but it came back when I started my regular routine again. I have tried myofascial release, acupuncture, non-traditional low-force chiropractic, and physician-prescribed stretching exercises, but they only last 3 to 4 weeks between visits. I am now using your turmeric and ashwagandha for it. What else can I do to stretch out the time between massage, acupuncture, and chiropractic visits? What are these past injuries? And what's the flare-up that you're having, Naz? I'm not sure. Doctors say there is no hope and no cure. Okay, so there's no hope and no cure. You hear that? Let's just take everything, your most valuable possession, your hope, and try to throw it out the door. Okay, so they say there's no hope and no cure. what is the end result that they're saying that you have no hope or no cure for? What's going to happen? Are you going to become blind, they're saying? These vascular changes are associated with disruption of our outer nuclear layer ellipsoid zone lead to macular holes. So let me know the end result. In NAS, let me know about this flare-up of exercise. This is NAS, this is going to be like a spiritual thing, but I want to hear more. I just purchased the CBD hemp oil, 1,000 milligrams. Lucky you. I have a bunch coming out here also. Many people didn't get in on that. Many people did get in on that. Instructions on how to best use this, time of day, with or without food, etc. It depends how, okay, first off, the CBD oil is the Rolls Royce of all CBD oils. It's the cream of the crop. So if you only have one bottle, you're not gonna wanna like down it. If you got like 24 bottles, like some people did, then you might wanna up the dosage. But it depends if you're using it for therapeutic purposes, then usually the dosage is higher. I like to recommend, especially if you don't have that much, to titrate it. We have CBD receptors within our endocannabinoid system, which includes our intestinal tract, our immune system, parts of our brain, and you don't need much to activate these receptors, and that's what we're trying to do here. So if you want, you could do 1/8 to 1/4 of a dropper full if you want to titrate and go slowly and max this out as much as possible. Or if you want to do therapeutic dosages, I know some people, I mean, I don't want to make any claims here, but some people take it for various reasons. I had a testimonial I read two hangouts ago where this woman was taking cannabis and she didn't, like, it was messing up her focus and her brain too much. It was like she was high all the time and it was actually helping her pain. And she decided to stop because she didn't want to be high anymore. So what she did was she tried our CBD oil, and without getting high now, the pain just goes away. So it depends like what you're trying to use this for. You're trying to hit something like that, or you're just trying to get the benefits of activating all the CBD receptors, things like that. Okay, so back here. Some say inject steroids in the eye, and others say hold off until doctors discover more. What are they saying that you have no hope for? That you're going to become blind is the end result, or what? What are they saying? But anyways, there's many different things that doctors say that there's no hope for, and then miraculously, people heal. As we were stating in last week's hangout, everyone, you might want to ask more questions at the news.therawfoodworld.com/live. We're low on questions here. They say cancer is incurable unless you do chemo. They say MS is incurable, rheumatoid arthritis. I've done videos on people who have healed from both of these. But anyways, Nikhil, how's your diet? Because that's like one of the main things that we can be doing. As we were saying last week, when you improve your diet, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but when you improve your diet, automatically you're working on an emotional and spiritual level at the same time. Because in order to do a raw food diet or even a cooked whole foods diet, your family and friends are going to oppose you. People are going to think you're crazy. You can't go to restaurants without, without looking at every last thing you do. it's almost like all these ties that you have where people are feeding off your energy, kind of just like, you also go through a spiritual transformation. Usually when people's lives are on the line, they're forced to improve their diet. And when people's lives are not on the line, they try to improve their diet, but they never succeed because of the pain that they go through and the cravings and the suffering where they emotionally eat and stuff like that. But when you're forced to do it, you break through that. And that's a huge spiritual conquering. You're kind of gifted more energy when you do something like that. It's like you say no, and you have more control over your own body and self. And then there's more space for healing on all levels, physical, everything. You drain the human body of all that toxic waste and things like that. So if this is like your wake-up call, then if you were to do all of these things for your eyes, improve your diet, maybe do a colonic here or there just to keep the withdrawals coming out. And there are other things that you can actually take for your eyes that we can discuss about right now. I did the research last week because I didn't really have all of it. But anyways, okay, so one thing that a person could take is, we're actually going to get this on our website soon, but you can probably just go to Amazon and get it, but I don't know if you want to get a good quality. I don't know the long name for it, but it's NAC. It's a precursor to glutathione, which is a very powerful antioxidant. It protects the organs. It's a detoxifier. And it's really good for the eyes. It will help with, they say it helps with cataracts. Other things you want to be doing though is eliminating refined sugar and stress for the eyes, because this is like one of the main causes of cataracts. I know this isn't a cataract issue, but if this heals the lens of the eye, that's what they state that it does, then it could probably do some magic where you are with this. Another important thing is vitamin C. If it sounds like the blood vessels are leaking behind the eye, and vitamin C is critical to synthesize, to metabolize collagen. So if you're not getting enough vitamin C, your collagen network is like loose and it's not tight, and you want it tight. So you want to be taking camu powder, probably high amounts of it for now. So what this will do, if you don't have enough vitamin C, there's something in there that's a copper component, tyrosinase. And if you don't have enough of this, it can cause microhemorrhaging, which is like bleeding of like arteries and blood vessels and things like this. So the main thing that we want to be doing is fixing our diet. We got to try to go really low on sugar, eliminate stress, and sugar, carbs are sugar also. Gluten, bread, pastas, things like that. So we want to kind of eliminate that. That alone is big, but you want to make sure you're getting enough vitamin C. And then NAC will probably be a really good product for those eyes. Let's see if I can think of anything else. Other things you might want to do is, I know I said eliminate sugar, but carrot juice is really good for the eyes. You don't want to go overload on the sugar, but carrot, lettuce, endive, and parsley, that combination is extremely good for the eyes. You could do load up on all the greens there if you can handle it. And carrot's also amazing. Most people, like carrot for me versus carrot for someone who drinks soda and all crazy things is a completely different situation when even the sugar will be good for you. So there you go. That would be my recommendation. However, I am not a doctor, and before making any medical changes, I recommend talking to a healthcare practitioner. Everything I'm talking about is based off of experience and study. Okay, so here we go. No hope. I love the system. The vascular, okay. What food supplements do you suggest to give me more energy? Okay. Okay, so, I mean, pretty broad question. Okay, first of all, generally, in order to get more energy, you have to lose energy first. And let me explain. And I can give you supplements and products that can give you a little energy boost. But for example, a lot of people drink coffee for energy. Stimulation is what energy is. So then you, just like we were talking about at the beginning of the hangout, once you do something like this on an ongoing basis, such as coffee, the effects aren't as strong because you become used to it. So then you got to up your intake to get that stimulation. It's this never-ending game. So in order to, so then you're just like, the coffee doesn't work anymore like it used to. And all the coffee is doing you now is you wake up really messed up, and then you take the coffee, it stimulates you, but it doesn't give you the energy. It just puts you at your norm, which you don't really like as it is. So coffee doesn't do much for you anymore because you've maxed it out. So this goes across the board for any type of stimulation. Cigarettes is a type of stimulation. They call it downer or whatever. Alcohol, whatever. So what happens is now you're wanting more energy. So the key is to get natural energy. And so you eliminate coffee, you're going to go through withdrawals and you go down. You need your coffee to even just get to the normal level now. You don't get stimulated, just to the normal level. And so now you have to go down and go through the withdrawals and detox everything. It's the same thing with refined sugar, guys. Forget the coffee. We're addicted to refined sugar. So the refined sugar boosts you, but then it's like this never-ending, you're on stimulation here. So you eliminate these things, you finally get rid of it all. You have to go through the downer aspect, and then once you get everything out, then you have natural energy again. And it feels really good. And then if you were to drink coffee now, or the refined sugar now, you'll be flying high. You'll have so much energy you don't know what to do with it because of how stimulated you are on refined sugar and coffee. And it feels really good. And you forget, like that feels really good. You're flying, you're on top of the world. But it's temporary and you come back down below where you were when you were just naturally high, naturally energetic. And this natural energetic is just, it becomes like your everyday norm to where it's almost boring. So you need to have that, woo, more suffering, highs and suffering. But if you can maintain that and understand that you feel better than you've ever felt before, it's amazing. That's one aspect of how do I get more energy. Another aspect is energetic. It's more of like a spiritual thing. For example, today. Okay, so for the last week, I've been getting like 6 to 7 hours of sleep, not my normal 8 hours. And I'm like flying, doing really well. And then I'm like, okay, I got to go to bed early last night, just so I could catch up, kind of, is what I told my mind. And I slept over 8 hours. So I slept over 8 hours. I did extra cleansing, and then I woke up like, oh, it was like I would have been better off with 6 or 7 hours. that's kind of like doing the coffee thing, like where, or sugar, we get to catch, I have to go down now. So, okay, whatever. So I got to sleep, and there were points during the day, I was fine, but there were points during the day, I'm hanging out with my children or something like this, and I'm just like thinking I have low energy. Like not thinking, but I feel really low energetically. These are usually temporary things. Sometimes you just gotta splash water on your face. Sometimes you can just smell essential oil. Sometimes you just gotta like shake it out of it or whatever. But right now I'm totally energetic and it's crazy. It was almost just like a matter of cycles through the day. And it's almost like, I know that sounds crazy, but like a spiritual battle during those times of low energy. And it's like enduring and fighting to not accept the belief that something's wrong with you and to keep you down and low energetic for the rest of all the time. It's all just feeling. What is feeling tired anyways? If you were to focus and look at it, all it is a feeling and a sensation. And we're gonna come back to Naz's question because this kind of goes in line with this. It's a feeling and a sensation that is scary for some reason, and we think something's wrong with us. But what we have to do is stand up to it, not be afraid of it, and almost like endure it and be in the midst of it and overcome it. Like when the feeling comes, don't think you're powerless. Okay, so here we go. Let's read Naz's question. I often experience pain from a past injury which flares up. Did you write more? No, okay. I often experience pain from a past injury which flares up when I perform repetitive motions such as eating, typing, preparing food, juicing, carrying bags. I tried stopping these motions for 3 days by water fasting, but it came back when I started my regular routine again. So now it's like, okay, so the water fasting worked. I have tried myofascial release, acupuncture, non-traditional low-force chiropractic, and physician-prescribed stretching exercises, but they only last for 3 to 4 weeks between visits. I am now turmeric and ashwagandha for it. What else can I do to stretch out the time between massage, acupuncture, and chiropractic visits? Okay. So it's almost like the fasting is a crutch. The all of these different things are crutches. So I told you guys a long time ago, I ran into problems when this gets pretty deep. I don't want to lose people here. And this is important. When it's just like a lot of people don't like the spiritual aspect. When I was doing the, and we're just going to go over this and we'll move on. When I was doing enemas for many years every day, and I was eating that maltodextrin crap, truly natural vitamin C, I started bleeding heavily. I told everybody that. And so since then, I quit doing enemas and colonics. It's been like over 2 years now. But anyways, I was going through this, I was trying to heal it. I almost seriously did a juice fast for 8 months straight. I was mental about trying to heal this stuff. It was part of my learning process so I could kind of teach this to others. And then I even dry fasted. I took it like way too far. And then I ate some kale chips afterwards or something, and then blood came out, and I was like, oh, nothing's gonna work. It was like this whole entire thing. So with this entire, with injuries and things like this, just the pain sensation puts a fear, hopelessness, things like that. It's almost like that aspect that we don't stand up to and we accept is the thing that is draining that area. Sometimes it's just a sensation. Anyways, it's hard to explain. Is the cause of the injury, we could say. And so there's an energy, like I used to always teach, like, no, I'm healthy. I don't have a disease. I don't have an injury or anything like this. Let me give you another example. Oh, I don't want to give that example. I gotta wait. Whenever I hurt myself, it's almost like you hear about these yogis and people like this who do mind over matter, and miraculous things can happen. Well, this is true because if I were to injure myself, I would seriously, okay, when a person injures themselves, the pain and sensation of that injury, it goes like this. Sometimes it's heightened, sometimes it's completely gone and you feel really good. Sometimes it's heightened. Usually in the morning, you're like have the most vitality, you just slept, you healed, you feel great. Then as you wear down, go throughout the day, there's lots of energetic things that are happening, your body is physical, your vitality goes down a little bit, and then the sensation of pain goes up, and then later in the night, maybe something else happens and it's gone. Like it's like this ongoing thing. You forget about when you don't feel it, and then when you feel it, you think it's always there and it's crazy amounts. So it's almost like, I'll give you an example. When I injured myself, I kind of just notate everything that happens, and I've hurt myself so bad to where it hurts so badly, but I don't accept it. And then like what I do is like if I have an injury or something, what I'll do is stretch it. Like for example, let's say I have an injury in my neck and it just hurts really bad to go back like that. I will go all the way back. I go like completely into the pain. And then what I'll do is I'll just like hit every possible stretch there is, like 20 minutes of stretching around my neck every day, to where it becomes so loose and good that I'll never have an injury again. But the point of that is when you're stretching also and you're going into that pain, it's not only the physical aspects that you're healing at these moments in time. I've talked about this. There's an energetic component too. And when you're sitting there in the pain, you've probably seen me in one of my videos where I talk about the person who does yoga and they sit there and they start crying and they're breaking up that energy and stuff like that. You could kind of almost feel that energy go away when you do that type of work. And that right there is the root of the injury. And what brings that back, so let's say you remove that and you're like, wait a minute, and then you go looking for it, you're like kind of asking it back, if that makes sense. Or you're sitting there and you feel a sensation and you're like, oh, I have no control over that. It's almost like, so back to the other thing we were just explaining. We were talking about foods for energy. I was saying, oh yeah, when you're down low in energy, it's like you want to stand up to it and endure, and all it is an energy. It's the same thing with this. Like oh, I'm never going to heal myself. I've had this for so many years. And that's the thing we're fighting against. So it's almost like you're fighting low energy and you're fighting injuries, you're fighting diseases energetically. I hope this is making sense. But it will when you're in the moment. And sometimes these things are powerful. And that's kind of where faith comes into play. Knowing that, I mean, it's like, you can't just transfer it over. I could just like walk around it like I am right now. And then hopefully you can start messing around with it and then ask me questions in future hangouts in regards to all of that. And then I can further do it based off of everybody's experiences and what you get from it. So in terms of the energy thing, of course, we want to be eating healthy. This is the #1 thing we can do. We've got reishi spore products, which boosts the immune system. People feel that the B12 patches are our #1 selling product on our website. These are very powerful. I just put one on at the beginning of the hangout and I felt it. Everyone saw me put it on. We actually just got, we're gonna announce this later, new and improved B12 patches. They're available on our website right now. It doesn't say new and improved. We just got the new batch in. If you had a back order, you're getting the new and improved ones. It's got higher levels of B12 in every patch. It's got no folic acid because people were complaining about that. And it's just more potent. So the B12 patches would probably be good. And you know, if you don't have enough B12, that could be your issue with low energy. And I just kind of went into a bunch of spiritual mumbo jumbo. But there are so many possibilities and scenarios of what your diet's like and what you can be deficient in, and so many things that we can probably attack nutritionally that will help your energy. But you're just asking me for foods and supplements do you suggest to give you more energy? I don't know anything about you, what you eat, what you are taking now, what you're deficient in, and things like this. So, I mean, the first part would be like, what's your diet like? Okay, so Nikhil with the eye issues, it sounds like you're on a good diet. Try the things that I recommended. Yes, we ordered your camu powder. Can we set up a time to discuss this further? We can be your tester model, upcoming product, NAC, and give progress reports. I mean, I pretty much gave you everything that I would tell you on the phone. I gave a list of everything. Okay, so Bonnie writes, yes, spiritual battle, perhaps gloomy, cloudy, winter season going on here too. Okay, so winter season is a big thing. Vitamin D3, our D3 patches might be really good. Vitamin D3 is really good for your immune system. One of the reasons why people get sick when it starts to become fall is because the sun goes away. Another reason, like people get asthma, also when the sun actually is really good for preventing asthma. D3 is something you might want to take. It might help you. Okay, someone says, I get you, don't fight it, except feel it and let it go. I mean, it is kind of like a battle. So you do want to fight. It's not like you want to surrender to something, because if you surrender to it, then it kind of is a battle. So you do want to fight it. It's like you're fighting for life, if that makes sense. It's like, were there any resources that you found beneficial during pregnancy, books, podcasts? Yeah, Sarah, shoot me an email or Facebook. And we did a conscious parenting summit many years ago. I'll just give it to you for free if you Facebook me at my profile. You're on Facebook right now because we're Facebook Live. Okay. Matthew Blackburn writes, what's up, Matt? What are your thoughts about supplementing red wine with resveratrol together? What are your thoughts on resveratrol? red wine, if I'm not mistaken, has resveratrol in it, correct? So you're just trying to get like a super dose there. If someone's going to be doing alcohol, it's first off, you don't want to be doing it on an ongoing basis. It would probably be red wine as my recommendation out of anything else without sulfites and stuff like that. I mean, even better is pomegranate juice, which is loaded with antioxidants more than like practically anything you can possibly imagine. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I know there's clinical studies on red wine, actually shows good things and bad things, what it can do, depending like what people are trying to sway there. But there are many other ways to get the benefits that the red wine, I mean, the point here is obviously if you're drinking red wine, you're wanting to have some fun. And we don't want to take that away from you. So, you know, if you're going to do it, just do it. Just do the best you can in all of your dietary lifestyle aspects around that. Yeah. All right, here is a long one. Okay, I bought loads of your gelatinized premium black maca because I've used maca in many forms for years and have found it to be valuable. Recently, I was told I had a peptic ulcer. I'm sure the recent disastrous election brought it on, something I've never had at any time in my life. I've traveled the world. I mean, I don't think it's funny with peptic ulcer, just though that was like a crazy election. Okay, I've traveled the world, eaten and drank anything and everything without any problem. I am also changing health plans, trying to get it under the rape of healthcare about to take place. And in the process of checking out a few things, I take regular, I've discovered some disconcerting things online. I take practically no drugs, never have. I take something called famotidine periodically for heartburn, and only as needed, and baby aspirin. Oh, dude. Okay. I think baby aspirin causes ulcers. That's it. In fact, your black maca is the only thing that I take religiously and regularly. Anyway, in doing research into, I found taking and eating and what effect it would be on a peptic ulcer. By the way, biopsy showed no bacterial cancer in my stomach. That's good. I read something that says maca can be carcinogenic or lead to cancer. Okay. I want to get your take on any information you may have on the downsides of taking maca. Both my wife and I take it regularly, and recently they found a non-specific nodule in my wife's lung. Okay. Hopefully it's not cancer and hopefully unrelated to maca use. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But just in case, I don't want either of us doing anything that could be a detriment to our health. I trust your wife's information, and I'm hoping that I read online alternative facts. Thank you for your help. Okay, so they say that there is an enzyme in raw maca that can upset the stomach if taken religiously. And this is why some people take, what do you call it? Gelatinized maca. But I honestly don't think, I know for a fact it didn't cause the issue in the lung. And I'm pretty certain that it didn't cause the ulcer in your stomach. I'm actually 100% positive. But if it is an issue for you, you might want to just try. I mean, me personally, I like the gelatinized maca better because it takes those types of things out. The aspirin, on the other hand, I know they say you're probably taking it for, what is it, blood thinning, or what are you taking it for? There are many other natural alternatives you can take instead of aspirin. That right there can cause an ulcer without any doubt in my mind. And yeah, what are you taking the aspirin for? Let me know, and then we can probably hit something better than that. The aspirin in the long run can cause issues from what I've researched. So let me know what you think about that. Maca is a root, like a carrot and a beet. It's a raw food with incredible amounts of nutrition and components that are extremely nourishing to the human body. But with that being said, it wouldn't cause an ulcer, but you might not want to be taking raw maca every single day. That's what I have to say about that. And we don't have any more questions. I believe that even taking aspirin, I have to double check this information, that it can actually kill liver cells. I'm pretty certain of it on an ongoing basis if you take that. There's so many alternatives that you can do. Even magnesium citrate can probably do what the aspirin does. All right. We've been into this for an hour and we don't really even have any more questions. Here we go. Sweet. He liked my answer. Okay. What's up, Sudarshan? Anybody got more questions? Let's see what else I was learning about. I can maybe share with you since nobody's asking me questions. Oh, I know what we could talk about. We were talking about earlier sugar. And okay, so we were ask your questions. I got you, Bobby. I'll mention it in a minute. Okay, so we were talking about sugar earlier, and I was telling you that there were clinical studies showing that if a person eliminates sugar for 2 weeks, even 1 week, the cravings go away. And 95% of the people in this clinical study who eliminate sugar for 2 weeks, when they had the sugar that they used to eat, they said it was way too sweet, and they would either eliminate it completely or cut down on it. So one of the main things that we can do for sugar addiction is kind of cut it cold turkey. What a lot of people do is they'll do artificial sweeteners such as diet soda. And ironically, if you're doing that, diet soda, you're not getting the sugar, but you're like for example, Sprite Zero, there was this clinical study done on it where there wasn't any sugar in there, but the artificial sweetener tells your brain that you're getting sugar, but you're not really getting it. So then the cravings go higher. And they did a clinical study where they took people and they either gave them Sprite Zero, or carbonated lime spring water. And what they did was they offered the 3 groups a choice of either spring water, M&Ms, or sugar-free Trident gum. The ones that had Sprite Zero, which had artificial sweeteners with 0 sugar in it, were 3 times more likely to eat to choose the M&Ms compared to everybody else. It's because they're tricking their brain into thinking they're getting sugar, and then they don't get it. and then the cravings happen. It tricks the brain, and it didn't get what it wanted. So then they can't control themselves, and then they'll choose the M&Ms. And there was another clinical study where the 3 same groups, they're given Sprite Zeros, carbonated water with lime or Sprite, and they were all offered Oreos to eat. They were forced to eat Oreos. And the ones that had the artificial sweetener one, Sprite Zero, were the least satisfied with those Oreo cookies. It wasn't enough for them, while the other ones were completely satisfied. So sugar, you don't want to be tricking your brain for artificial trick. The way to do it is to kind of cut sugar completely for a week or two. In the clinical study where they cut sugar, after 1 week, people's cravings went away. But that 1 week was probably health. So try it. Eliminate refined sugar and see what happens. Oh, someone's in my hair. Okay. What would you say for arthritis and enlarged joints? I did not see your question, Joe, from the beginning of the hangout. What's up with that? It's not here, dude. Let me hit refresh. Maybe it's this refresh thing that I was having issues with. Okay, we're going to talk about what would you do for arthritis and enlarged joints in a second. Let's see here. Oh, dude, I missed all these questions. Okay. Now we got lots of questions. I got to start hitting refresh on that page. Okay, what would you say about arthritis and enlarged joints? Okay, so arthritis and enlarged joints. I mean, there's many possibilities and scenarios here. It could be a stress problem, meaning you're producing crazy amounts of cortisol on an ongoing basis and it doesn't relax. So then you become cortisol resistant, and then you have all this excess cortisol in the body, but your receptors for the cortisol have downgraded. So now you have too much cortisol, and you're resistant to, you're deficient in it at the same time because your receptors aren't accepting it. This could be a possibility. When something like that happens, it's ugly because you don't get the benefits. The benefits of cortisol is when you have cortisol resistance, kind of like insulin resistance, you get all the bad benefits such as belly fat, muscle weakness, and at the same time you don't get the benefits, which is anti-inflammatory. And that anti-inflammatory aspect might create joint pain and arthritis. So we've got to kind of heal the adrenals there if that's the situation. Other aspects could be calcification in these areas in the soft tissue. In that case, you'd be wanting to take a lot of vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 along with K2 to help move that calcification out. When you do vitamin D3, the absorption of calcification goes up 20 times, and then the K2 brings the calcium out to where it needs to go. So it could be many situations and scenarios, and those are a couple of them in enlarged joints. Yeah. What's the best way to take the apricot seeds? You can make an apricot butter by, apricot seeds have B17, they say it's anti-cancerous properties. You can, and then just take spoonfuls that would be broken down already, or you can just chew them, eat them straight. Or blend it in something. All my aches and pains vanished when I cut refined carbs. That's awesome. this other person, they already do the healthy diet. Okay, ergonomic injury and flare up of pain. Okay. It's almost like when we have this injury, it's almost like our baby. It's like, it's almost like, do you really want it to go? I know you're probably saying, yes. But you have to take control over it and not let it have control over you. That's it right there. That's it right there. You have control over it and it doesn't have control over you. And when you have these ups and downs with injuries, and when it's at its peak, when you as I was saying, you might wake up in the morning and it feels like it's gone. You have some strength, but then you've been worn out from the day for whatever reasons, and now the injury hurts. At these moments in time of weakness, you still have to be like, I have control over it and it doesn't have control over me. Those are the points that you just have to get through. And it's just a matter of enduring, knowing, and then before you know it, you're gonna be back to where you were. And then if you keep that attitude up, it's gonna get less and less and less. But then a lot of people go into despair. The despair is where you get nailed. Despair is where you get nailed. Hi, Matt. What's happening on the CBD front? I appreciate your clear, prudent stance on the DEA action. Ordered the 1 kg royal jelly. It's strong stuff. Yeah. How do you like to take it? Any suggestions for things to mix it in? I just like to take it straight. It's almost like drinking a vegetable juice. But you could put it in a smoothie or juice if you want, but I would just spoon it. I mean, the DEA thing is pretty straightforward. I mean, there's nothing that change. Hi, Mark from New Jersey. How do you feel about erythritol? I've been using it for myself and my kids with good results. What is too much? Tablespoon is too much. Hey, Matt, what makes a fat rancid and what are the impacts of consuming them? I've heard it referenced a few times from various sources that within the context, it sounds like it means oxidized or simply old, but I'm just not sure. Thanks for doing these hangouts. It's great. It's great. Appreciated. Okay, so I mean, just like with any bad food, you don't want to eat it. If it's rancid, just don't eat it. The implications could be bacteria, excess bacteria that your body has to deal with. Yeah, I mean, it could be many different things. Maybe, why does anything go moldy or rancid or anything like that? It was a repetitive motion injury from computer use, and I experienced flare-ups of pain. No healthcare professional I went to said there is a cure for it once you get injured like this. So what is it, in your wrists? Matt, can you make a badge of your famous peeling nut butter for sale? Not everyone has a stone nut grinder. Oh, a batch. I tried to use my blender, but I was not too happy with the consistency. It's too, like, the stone grinder situation, we're in the future, we'll probably do something like this. And it would, if we were to do this, it would be like way expensive. You guys wouldn't want me to do this. Okay. Also, will this CBD oil help with sleep? Possibly. Okay, let's read what people are saying. Thanks for the commentary. I will try your suggestion. Now, would you try first if you found a, what would you try first if you found a squamous cell carcinoma? Crystal, can you say what is squamous cell carcinoma on Google and then paste it in my Skype? What about sickle cell? Could this be a reflection of the emotional level? What can be done to heal this? It's not necessarily the emotional level, it's the spiritual level. But one thing that we can do is nutrition and things like this. A form of skin cancer that develops in the cell of the outer layer of the skin. Okay, first off, how do you know that that is squamous cell carcinoma? Okay. What would I do? If I saw something like that on my arm or something like this, I'm not really happy about this hangout right now. I know that I have a base that kind of likes this information, but then there's another base that's just like, this guy's a clown. Okay, now what would you try first if you found squamous? Okay, if I had something, well, first off, I would never know it's squamous cell carcinoma because I wouldn't even look into it like that. If I had something, the first thing is not to freak out about it. And I would just do what I could. First off, the spiritual aspect is the most important out of everything. So the freak out thing is what we don't want to be doing. And then it's almost like battling, it's a battle again. And what I would probably do is massage it really hard. As I was saying, if I had an injury, I go into the pain of it to where like most people would think that's crazy. So I would probably massage it and like go, if it made pain, I would just like feel it completely. And then doing this is kind of like the yoga aspect to where you can also clean it energetically. That's just probably what I would do if I was in that situation. But in no means would I even accept it as anything that could be bad for me. And whatever the hospital is going to do would cause more harm anyways to anything that I would personally do to it. Are they going to give me some sort of like toxic cream to put on it? Are they going to try to radiate it? Are they going to try to give me some antibiotics? Are they going to try to give me pharmaceutical drugs? This would all be detrimental, you know? But maybe if it's just like a short-term, not so bad thing that will placebo your way into the spiritual aspects around it to where you heal like that, then I'm all for it. But I personally like to do it without the placebo. Okay, let's talk about the placebo, just to take my craziness out of the mix here. So I'm subscribed to National Geographic, and every once in a while I go in there and I read what they have to say because there's some interesting stuff. But anyways, there was this guy with Parkinson's disease. I have the links. There's proof. This guy with Parkinson's disease, incurable, right? What they did was they did a placebo on him where they drilled into his skull and did little nivets, they called it, like little wedges, like just drilled it, and then like they sealed it up to where they thought they did this new technology thing for Parkinson's disease. His Parkinson's disease went away and they did nothing. Based on belief, he healed from Parkinson's disease. Here's another perfect one for you, Naz. I've talked about this placebo example many times. Knee surgeries. This sports knee surgeon, who's the best in his industry, had an 80% success rate in healing people's knees. He agreed to do a placebo test. 50% of the people got the real knee surgery, while the other 50% watched a TV screen of somebody else's knee being surgically done, but they thought it was their own. And all they did was like cut their knee and then sew it back up. Of the placebo people, 80% of the people got better also. So he had to quit his profession. Based on belief, they healed their knees and no knee surgery was done. That's just an injury. And so is his Parkinson's disease. So it backs up my craziness of what I'm saying about what I would do if I had any of these situations. But what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to do, the placebo is great and it's an unconscious way to heal. What I try to teach is how to do it consciously. And sometimes the placebo doesn't work for people. 80% of the people got better. What about the other 20%? They baby that injury. Oh, they might feel good for a minute, but it's almost like they can't live without it. So it's almost like the placebo is knowing that you're healed based off of something that someone gave you. So what I'm trying to teach is know that you're healed without anything given to you whatsoever. And that's doing placebo effect consciously. And it's a battle because there's all these I talked about these foreign thoughts that are roaming around, that it's a 6-dimensional experience where it's not just a whisper in the ear, it's an entire feeling. You hear the whisper, but you also feel the urge, the desire, everything. That is a thought. The thought is a whole entire vibrational experience. For example, in my other videos, I said, maybe you're sitting there walking there and all of a sudden you get this desire and thought to take the scissors and stab the dog. Now, obviously, these weird thoughts come in, right? We don't act upon them, but that's not us. We would not purposefully choose to do that. And we don't just hear the whisper of that. It's an entire vibration to where almost you're ready to take the scissors and stab the dog. But that's not us. So it's the same thing when you're trying to heal from something. Things are going to come through, foreign thoughts that we're going to think is us because it's a thought that's not really ours, but it's feelings that we think is us. You see what I'm saying here? So this is what we're up against. We would not choose to think these evil thoughts that come through. We've all experienced things like that. Can't deny it. So everything seems a bit more clear now. As earlier, I was kind of like going in circles trying to explain that in some way. Let's see. Okay. Sometimes you can do all this, you can do the nutritional aspects, you can do all of the spiritual work, Generally that handles disease, but sometimes it still doesn't. And a lot, what is happening then is we're probably doing something that we're not supposed to be doing. Maybe we're taking advantage of other people on an ongoing basis, and you don't even realize it. You could be taking advantage of people on a spiritual level, not even a physical level. Just so many different possibilities and scenarios here. All right, moving along. Okay, so Joseph says he takes the aspirin for blood thinning, as I expected. What other options do you have? Magnesium, potassium, green juices. Oh, and you don't even take the raw maca anymore, you're taking the gelatinized maca. So there's, I mean, I already said that there was no way that the raw maca was gonna do it, but now I'm like, certain. But magnesium citrate, like the product Natural Calm is magnesium citrate. And why do you need blood thinning? Usually there's a reason why you need blood thinner. It's the aspirin. Why do you need blood thinning? Answer that question, then we could take this to the next level for you. Okay. Everyone's talking about CBD. We're going to go through everything right now. But first, I am diagnosed with 70% occlusion in carotid arteries. Okay, so what this means is, I don't know what the carotid word is, but 70% occlusion means they've got arteries that are 70% filled with plaque. Also, my BP is running very high. Blood pressure is running very high, with systolic of more than 200, but diastolic being always less than 80 and having symptoms of stroke. I'm taking Nepronol AFD by Arthur. Okay, any suggestions? Warning that. Okay. First off, I'm not a doctor, and before making any changes, I recommend talking to a healthcare practitioner. Anything stated here is based off of experience. Okay, so what is the cause of arterial plaque in the first place? Let me hit refer. I'll answer you, Veronica, in a second. Okay. Okay, so what is the cause of arterial plaque in the first place? What generally is happening is there is microhemorrhaging within the arteries of, in the arteries. This could be due to many different things, which we'll discuss. But what happens is cholesterol LDL will come over in like a little protein thing with calcium and try to heal the artery or whatever issue is happening there. It's almost like a Band-Aid. But the underlying issue of the cause of the artery being damaged is not fixed. So what happens is more and more cholesterol and calcium are coming to put more and more Band-Aids on, to the point where you hit 70% occlusion, to where your arteries are 70% filled with plaque. So what we want to be doing is fixing the reason why the cholesterol is bringing the Band-Aid, the calcium, to fix the artery. And it's generally one of two things. One is refined sugar and processed starches. This breaks down into glucose, and eating too much of this crap will create inflammation and microhemorrhaging to where it can result in plaque coming through, plaque building up from the healing of the arteries that are not taking place. But we continue to eat the crap. So the process is coming. The LDL isn't the culprit, it's just the middleman helping out there. It's the refined sugar and processed starches. And then as we were talking about earlier in the hangout, it could also be the vitamin C. A lack of vitamin C means you need that to metabolize collagen. And if you don't have enough vitamin C, you can have microhemorrhaging. So if you have microhemorrhaging, then from a lack of vitamin C, then guess what's going to happen? The LDL is going to bring and create the Band-Aid approach. So the main thing that we got to be doing here is improving our diet. And when you improve your diet, you start getting vitamin C naturally. But our camelin powder can actually help you with that. You got to be careful of other camelin powders. You're going to end up like I did with maltodextrin crap. So that's what we want to be doing, is the whole entire diet thing. And when you improve your diet, you'll probably want to do some enemas and like maybe here and there do an enema or whatever, just to keep things moving out. Hi, Matt. Going back to CBD oil, have you heard of cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome? If so, could you please explain? Crystal, can you take that and Skype me what Google says? What do you think about cocoa powder, using it every day? Do you know anything about it containing cadmium and anything health issues related to cadmium? Okay, so what happens is, okay, he's talking about cacao powder. Okay, so in California, many years ago, they came out with Proposition 65. Originally, this had good intention behind it in regards to the water supply of some sort. However, many lawyers started taking advantage of this type of thing and started suing health companies if they didn't have a warning label that they're gonna have cancer and stuff like this if they took the product. Because, okay, first off, the FDA has certain safe levels of lead, cadmium, and things like this. And generally, the FDA levels are pretty right on. For example, the amount of lead or cadmium in an avocado would be higher than most cacao powders on the market. However, due to Proposition 65, they lowered those levels to the point to where even like normal everyday foods, like an avocado, would have more lead and cadmium in it than an avocado. It's just the soil has these natural occurring metals and minerals and stuff like this. And it's almost like impossible to avoid in some aspects in mineral-rich places. So it's natural occurring and minuscule. So what you'll start seeing now is a lot of health companies, superfood companies, anywhere in California, even restaurants now have these labels if you eat here because they don't want to be sued. These lawyers are going nutso just to make money. But even at restaurants, they have signs like the food here will cause you. People in California are used to it, so it's not even like that big of a deal anymore. So, and then other, marketers will capitalize on it also, just like these lawyers do. Kind of like, oh, our even though our products contain probably the lowest of cadmium and lead out there, due to Proposition 65, you got to be very careful with these lawyers and things like that. So just something to think about. But generally, I mean, there are some probably out there, brands, that are probably ridiculously, it's not done properly maybe. But in most, if you're getting our cacao powder, you would definitely be okay every day with it. What is it? Oh, okay. All right, guys. The CBD oil shelf life is 24 months unopened. And high LDL. All right, guys. I gotta take off. I just saw someone standing over there with a towel and a flashlight saying it's time to go in the sauna. It's been a fun hangout. If I didn't answer your question, there's only like a couple more. Next week, we'll be back here on Tuesday. Let's do it again. This is Matt Monarch. We'll see you next time. Hangout, live hangout.